1, 2, 3.
Or 1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4. There you go. There you
All
go.
right.
Saying hi, welcome back. Guess where we are again? Hawaii.
We are.
Yep. But working,
Working.
not playing.
Okay, so officially this is our Pacific headquarters.
It is.
And it's actually not a joke.
Yeah. Yeah. We're not kidding. This is that second year we've run into one another here.
We have.
Yep. Yep. And so
That's called tradition.
Exactly. Especially when it becomes the third year, which I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So NTS is approaching really quick. And of course we're a little bit behind. We thought we'd update you with some of the stuff we're working on that we have announced.
Yep. Yep. New announcement time. And maybe a few updates on things we have announced in the past that we're have some more information on.
Yeah.
Okay.
So quick from England, we have a few new Panzers coming out, the M60 and the M88 recovery vehicle. And Lammy, everybody say, oh, where's Lammy? Lammy's taking way too
I'm tired of hearing about Lammy, aren't you?
Yeah, so I'm actually going to go there.
Are you really?
Yeah, I am.
Are you going? Seriously?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, after NTS.
That's the level of dedication you get out of this pair.
Exactly. However, Andy is retiring from his job in England this year. He'll have a lot of time on his hands. Hopefully, by next summer, we have Lammy.
Perfect. Okay. So we'll deliver that.
Yeah.
A little slow, but it'll get done.
Yes.
It'll get done. Okay. Good.
What else do we have? We have promised a rerun on the SD70 ACE and
Yep.
the ES44 AC locomotives.
So
it's coming.
Right. Modern diesels reruns coming back. All the road names you missed out on coming back. A few updates to some schemes coming. Maybe a few little additions here. I don't think we're going to rerun all of them, though.
No, we're not, but
Yeah.
we will do the UP Heritage locomotives.
Yep.
What's good about that, they changed the antenna array
Yep.
on the cab roof. I think that's a good detail. On the ES44 ACs, there really not a whole lot of changes. We are going to have the GE demo units
Yep.
this time
Yeah.
around.
Yeah.
And look for, sorry, the most popular railroads, at least gauging on our sales, the UP and the BNSF.
Yes.
Lots of road numbers this time, so whoever is into multiple units, you guys gonna have a lot of fun, a lot of numbers to choose from.
Exactly. Yeah.
What else we're doing? We're gonna rerun quite a few freight cars.
We are. We're actually going through that list now to see what we wind up rerunning. That's going to be a long project, but the nice thing is they're reruns. They're not new development. So in theory, it should take a lot less time to produce them. So we're looking at some things we've been sold out of, some things that people have been asking for. As always, if you have suggestions for us, drop us a line, post a message on the AZL forum, either way. We look there all the time. I'd be happy to get your input, and we use your input quite actively in making up our minds as to should we do this or should we not do that.
Yeah, so we're definitely doing the cabooses, so you don't have to tell us that. We are doing the bay window and the wide vision caboose. Even
Yeah.
if we're releasing, these days we're going to be releasing more wide vision caboose cars, but guess what? It's coming back next year. That's the third or fourth run
I
of
think
these
so.
cars.
Yeah.
The AAR car is also slated for a fairly quick re-release.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So a new announcement that we've got coming, a brand new car, one that I've kind of had some interest in for quite some time. It's the Ortner open hopper car. Really popular, used gravel service, aggregate service, a little more East Coast, but Southern Pacific had them as well. This is a fun car. It's basically a box, big porches, lots of metal work on this. The grab irons are metal, separately applied, and really importantly on this car, this is the first car we're going to attempt to do with body mount couplers. I think those of you who followed our products for a while know that's a big deal. We think we've got the coupler down to the point that we can start trying it. So if it's successful on the Ortner, then we'll go on ahead and slowly try and roll this out to other parts of the product line, you know, where we can make sense with it and where we can make it work. But it's something we've wanted to do for a long time. So we're really excited about that one. Now, there's a little limitation on the Ordner, 195 millimeter minimum radius curves. And the reason for that is with the coupler box fixed in the middle, as the wheels rotate, any more rotation and they'll start to scrub up against the coupler box. So unfortunately, there is going to be that limitation on that car. That's our standard, so it's not a big surprise. However, a lot of our cars will actually function on a tighter radius. It's not something we designed it for. It's just happily it happens to work. So that's a fun new project, and something else we've got coming too.
Yeah, we're releasing another AAR car. It's brand new because it's a total new plastic. It's the modified version of the 1937 AAR box car. What puts it apart now? It's a little bit taller than the other one, and not much, but enough that it will be very nice in a train set where you see different heights roof lines going by, and lots of road names for that as well. We did actually do the design 5 years ago, decided not to want to gauge the success of the AAR, and thank you all. It's been a success, and we're launching this. Back to the Ordner. Maybe that's the car that we can actually have this year.
Yeah.
Very end.
I'm hoping it'll be, but I don't want to make any promises. We do have, and I think we've got a picture here, we do have plastic samples on it already. So we're at that point, but if from the point we get that engineering sample, and by the way, they need to make some adjustments to it. We weren't entirely happy with it, so it needs a little bit more work. From the time we get a final engineering sample to the time we get product that's ready to deliver, it can be up to a year. So I'm hopeful this year because they seem to be moving quickly, but we don't have a lot of control over that process.
Yeah, and I'm bullish on the AAR, the modified AAR car. So hopefully by summer.
Yeah. And I think
next summer, 24.
Right. And that's why we're talking about it now. These are the ones we think will be coming along quickly, but we never know until it gets there.
Okay.
And I think the other neat thing with the AR, I think it's neat when you have these trains that have slightly different heights, on the cars. It makes them look more realistic.
And tons of different paint schemes or the main color.
Yeah.
Was it all boxcar brown or boxcar red? No.
Yeah.
All over the board. So it's really a colorful train. The mixed train is great to look at.
Yeah. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Going back a little bit, we're getting ready, hopefully by the end of the year, to release the SD40-2s and the T2s. For us, an incredibly important locomotive.
You got the T2 part, right? You heard that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You're just checking. Yeah.
For those that don't know that we're doing those locomotives now, so what's easy to do is to add on the SD50, the SD60, and the SD60Ms. And by doing those, we're going to do the Triclops. We're not doing the last version. We're doing the Triclops. For me, that's one of the.
That's the one.
Yeah, that's really the one. That was my personal big motivator. To do this run, but it fixes a lot of the common parts with the SD40-2 run.
Yep.
And so that's coming right after the SD40 release. And the reason I can say that, we're already testing prototypes.
Yeah, we already have running plastic of the SD50s and 60s. They look great. They run very well for being the first one, from the factory. And for us, this really completes the continuum. Really starting all the way back with the GP7 and 9, going all the way forward to the SD70 Ace. I mean that. The EMD really, this fills in, I think, really the last big gap in that program.
Oh, definitely. And if you look around, there's a lot of SD60 locomotives still running.
Yeah.
So it's still a current locomotive. You don't see it on the main line that much, but it's around.
Yeah.
And and they're really excited about that. Tons of road names.
Yeah, exactly.
On
That's the
those
fun part.
three locomotives, and no, really looking forward to that.
Yeah, I think if you're modeling in Z-scale, this locomotive most likely fits, you know, your collection or your layout already. So that's what makes it really kind of interesting.
Yeah. So unfortunately, as you heard Rob talk about the Ortner car, we tried with the SD40 to have a body-mounted coupler. Won't work.
Right.
Locomotive is just too long. So these will have truck-mounted couplers. You know these from other big diesels we have done. You get the option of fitting a true pilot up front. If you want to do that, you remove the truck with the truck without the coupler.
Yep.
Put that in and install the pilot, and then you really have a nice looking front.
Yeah. And we know also there's been an issue with the E8s and E9s and the PAs with the front coupler. We're going to work on a lab solution to get that solved fairly quickly, and then look at a longer term solution after that as to how to make that work for you guys. So, you know, we're committed to making sure all of our products, past, present, and future, really fit your needs.
Yeah, and I'm going to be at the NTS, and a lot of you are going to be there, and I'll be very willing to get into a heavy discussion about the SD50s
Yep.
and 60s,
Yep.
and I know there's preferences. Why aren't you doing this or that? We're almost doing all of them.
Yeah.
Almost all of them.
Yeah.
It's just the last iteration of the SD60Ms we're not going to do.
Yeah. And that's, you know, hopefully it's understandable. They're just a little too different. So,
Yeah.
you know, it doesn't quite work.
So that's kind of, this is a short announcement from us, so that kind of sums it up.
Reception on the trailer that comes with the spine cars, it's been, you know, just phenomenal. We're very happy with it. If you haven't seen it yet, I encourage you to do so. Lots of detailing on this 53-foot trailer, similar to what we do with our containers. A few things that I don't think have been pointed out. First of all, you get a second set of legs for it. They can replace it so their legs are in the up position if you want it loaded up to a tractor. And then second of all, the rear wheels are actually movable for the weight and balance. They rotate, metal axles on the rear wheels. The pad printing is unbelievably good. Everything is crisp. This is a product we thought was really needed for a long time. I know other guys have tried to do it in a sort of you know, what we would call a smaller volume production or a cottage industry. This one really needed to be injected at a proper factory to get it right, and we think we did. But there was something that was missing along with it, which is
The truck, the trailer truck.
the tractor. The tractor. Yeah. Yeah. So we need your help. We're having a little hard time deciding exactly which model of tractor to produce to go along with these. So if you have a few minutes, you don't mind checking in on the AZL forum and giving us your thoughts as to what you guys would like to see, it would be super helpful because I think between the American and European point of view, there's a lot of differences in tractors, so we're a little lost, and this is not our expertise.
Yeah, so I think where we're kind of focusing is something that was probably good around 1990,
Yeah.
1980.
Somewhere in there.
So we're kind of, and we might get arrested for this, but that's why we need your feedback.
Yeah.
We're thinking about doing something that's quite generic that could pass for a Kenworth, a Peterbilt, maybe Mack. We're thinking about one with a nose, snoot,
Right.
somebody calls it that. I'm not so good on these terms. Or the flat nose, the cab over.
Or a cab over, like a Freightliner or something like that.
Yeah.
You know,
So
or a Volvo.
we could do that. But, you know, something that really fits. And, you know, it all boils down to small details that differentiates the car. Oh, that's the Peterbilt, that's the Kenworth, and so it goes.
Yeah.
So that might not be so recognizable in Z scale.
Right, exactly. You know.
So we're a little bit open right now. I've looked at a lot of HO cars, and you know, it's not like one doesn't stand out. This is
Yeah.
kind of difficult.
Exactly. So we would love your feedback on this one.
Yeah, and you know, I've been looking at photos from container yards, railroad container yards, what type of trucks comes in and out. It's easy if we were going to build one today, I would know which one
Right.
to pick.
But-
But it has fit the trailer we made.
Exactly. Exactly. So please help us out. We'd appreciate it.
Okay, big announcement.
Yes,
Really huge.
This is big. This is really big. I think you've been looking forward to doing this for a long time,
I have.
and it's not the first time technically that it's been done.
No. Clue before we get right into it
Yeah.
is we have done some of it in brass before. I think you know.
I think almost all of it. Well, not all of it. Almost all of it.
Yes. So, what is it?
Yeah.
It's the 1941 and the 1954 Southern Pacific Coast Daylight.
Yes, exactly. And I think injected.
Oh yeah.
So we're talking about a price point that is on an injected level. That that doesn't mean that it's $25, but it does mean that it's infinitely less expensive than the brass products were.
Absolutely. So,
And
yeah,
and you know what? I think the quality on the injected is,
it's going to be better.
it's going to be better than the brass. It's not brass, you can't tune it, but it should run very well right out of the box.
Yeah. So, what can I say? We'll start with the locomotive.
Yep.
The GS4. We're not doing the GS3 because we're doing the 1941 and 54 consist. They didn't use the GS4. Not GS3 locomotives. They were put to other good uses. Fantastic locomotive in service from 1941 all the way through the late 50s. Passenger service through 1955-56. So an incredibly fun locomotive. We're going to do skirted, non-skirted versions. So we're doing the pre-war, post-war paint schemes, which basically means Southern Pacific lines pre-war, Southern Pacific post-war. We're doing the Freedom Train, so and the War Babies, of course, the black one.
The de-skirted, so
Yeah.
skirted, de-skirted both. That way you get to see all the details that are underneath. I think you actually went and looked at some of the locomotives.
I did.
Crawled up underneath them, with a
I've been-
micrometer, and
I've been
making
twice
sure.
in Oregon looking at the GS4 that's out there.
Yeah,
It makes this a lot more fun. Usually,
You said you did that. There are no photographs of this, though.
I found one.
Oh, you did find one.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so there is proof. Okay.
Yeah, I have proof.
Yeah.
So I'll post that to the forum, and you can see the details. I'm really looking forward to this.
Yeah.
And we're discussing the mechanicals at the moment, how we want to do this, and maybe some surprises will come there later on.
And in fairness, this is going to be a long-term project. I can't imagine this will 2 years maybe.
Yeah, it's 2 years from now. We're already a year into it.
Yeah. But it's a big project. I mean, and I think this will be probably the biggest thing we've ever done.
It is. It might not be the most complicated, but it's really big because it's, there are 10 different, 11 different passenger cars.
Right.
So what are we doing? What was the real difference between the 1941, the 1954 consist? The 1941 had center skirts. They were also lettered Southern Pacific lines. After the war, the center skirts went away, late 40s. I don't think any of them had the skirts anymore.
Right.
And the lettering was now Southern Pacific,
Yeah.
not Southern Pacific lines. We're also going to inject, all these cars are corrugated.
Right.
But in 1954,
Several articulated, several,
1954, a fluted car came along, and we're making that as well, a chair.
Yep.
And no one else has done this in injection as I know.
No, I
Any
think it's
scale.
only been done in brass in any scale. So this is the first time it's been
Yeah.
injected in any scale. So, for those of you talk to people and they say, I work in Z scale, and they kind of, I can't see
Yeah.
that, or you guys don't have enough stuff. We have things that
Yeah.
no one else has.
But time permitting, we can go on and talk about this
Yeah.
fabulous and beautiful train. So
This is the announcement. You're going to hear a lot more about it in the future.
yeah. So what else can we say? It's what you're saying, probably late 25.
Yeah, I'm working with the factory. We're going to try and make it DCC and sound ready.
Yeah. No promises.
No promises, but that's something we really want to have. out of this from the beginning. I think that'll be the first time a factory-built, sound-equipped DCC
Yeah.
locomotive has ever been available. So
We're-
it's going to be really
We're
special.
really thinking about that. Now, what's super good, I say super, I don't like to use superlatives or whatever it's
Why
called.
not? They're great.
Okay.
No, they're the greatest.
They're the greatest. So, for those of you that said, steam's not my thing, but I like the Coast Daylight. Well, guess what? We have all the diesels they use.
Exactly.
The PAs, the E7s, the E9s,
Mhm.
and the single E8.
Right.
So, incredible that we have those.
Exactly. So, it doesn't. You don't like steam? That's fine. We have an alternative for you.
Yeah, and this is going to be a lot of fun. So basically, the 54 consist you could push into the 60s because we have all the cars.
Right. Right. So more details on that to come later, but wanted to give you guys the big announcement now. And I think you're going to be hearing about this for probably for at least 2 years, but it is coming.
Yeah, and it's great to shoot this video. I'll see you at NTS.
And I will not. I'm going to stay here.
You are.
Yeah, I am.
Oh,
Sorry.
lucky you.
Yeah, exactly. Bye.
Okay.